right, let's go. All right, so the wealthy team, it starts with a mindset. So a lot of you are in um, the wealth transfer, and some of you are joining us live right now. Many of you are a part of my coaching program, and I want to make sure that in order to get to the next level, okay, you have to have a plan. I think that the reason why many people do not achieve massive success is because they don't have a blueprint. But who really teaches us a blueprint? We don't learn a blueprint in school. We don't really learn a blueprint in college about finance. We learn they teach us about our major, whatever that degree is. But most people, when they get out of higher learning school, they don't even work in with their major. So finance is very important. Wealth building is very important. As I told you guys, I've told many of you before, is that the Bible says that we should leave an inheritance for our children's children. So I believe that the core foundation of our community and of each one of you that are participating in today's masterclass is that we have to start, we have to have a wealth plan, all right? So I want to show you the wealth plan that my wealth team uses that's helped a lot of them to acquire massive success. And hopefully you guys will be a part of our team. If not, I'm sure you will learn something. And I'm gonna take you through this journey. But what I want you to understand in this class is that I don't care whether you work your 9 to 5. I don't care whether you have multiple businesses. You can't acquire massive wealth or even a portion of wealth without investing. So what I'm going to teach you now is how to become a millionaire in the next year. Those of you that are in the transfer with us, okay, if you made a residual income of $11,000 a month, which most people don't make in 6 months, but if you make extra income, regardless of what that is, how do you position yourself to use that to acquire wealth or invest in projects? All right, so I want to show you that. So most people think that when I get a big lump sum of money, whether it's my taxes or whether it's from the transfer or whether it's from a life insurance policy of a loved one that died, whether it's from a settlement, from an insurance I had, whenever most people acquire, average-minded people acquire a massive amount of money, the first thing they want to do is say, I'm going to go pay my bills off. I want to be debt-free. Then they're going to go buy items that are liabilities. So I want to show you the difference between assets and liabilities. Many of you know me or heard of me or know someone that's on my team, but I just want to kind of like start out by telling you my resume. I am a credit and wealth coach. I flipped over 100 houses. I made my first million when I was 24 years old. I've had quite a few businesses. Some were successful, some were not. I coach over 15,000 people. I have partners that are strategically placed across the United States that I teach how to be and coaches across the United States. I teach them everything that I know. And now they are teaching financial literacy, and they have their own members, and they coach people in their communities. Many of them are doing very successful. All right. Also have co-founder of Blueprint University. We have a location in Indianapolis, location in Los Angeles, got kind of put on freeze due to COVID-19. But my ultimate goal is to have a school so that we can educate people on not just how to be entrepreneurs, but how to think like wealthy people and how to get the information that wealthy people have. The information that I'm teaching you today is something that a billionaire taught me. My family didn't teach me, because they didn't know. And people can only teach you what they know. So I coach a lot of different types of people, average people, everyday people, working class people, people that have dreams, people that have felonies, people that's been in trouble, people that have been casted out by their families, people, men that have trucking companies now that once was in prison. I've helped a lot of people that I know get off the streets from selling drugs and transforming their life, and now they're making more money in business than they were on the street. So it's just understanding that I need a plan. And anybody that comes to me with any idea, I say, what's the plan? We have to build a plan. You can talk all you want to, but we have to have a plan, which is your blueprint. You can't go anywhere without your blueprint, all right? So I invested in movies, a car dealership in Los Angeles, own real estate, and I have 8 Airbnbs. My ultimate goal is 40. Some of you are on my board of directors for the new credit union that we're working on. All right, so what is wealth? I want you to write this down, and I want you to put this in the chat. You tell me what is wealth to you. All right, so that's what we're going to go through. What is wealth? The next thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to have you take a wealth test, and then we're going to talk about how do you get it, and then we're going to determine what your net worth is, and then we're going to talk about how do you keep it. All right, so a lot of people acquire riches and wealth, whatever you want to name it, but no one really tells them how to keep it. So even if you were to come into a massive amount of money, what is your plan to keep it? All right, so we got to know that. All right, so this is one of my superstars. This is Natalie. I coach her. I'm her credit coach. Just ordered her a new Lamborghini, which you see next to her. Her Lamborghini was over $250,000. But Natalie's passive income and her residual income is what pays for her luxury lifestyle. So there's nothing wrong with wanting a nice house. There's nothing wrong with wanting a nice watch or jewelry or diamonds or cars or whatever it is. But I want to show you how you should acquire that from your residual income or from your passive income versus from your earned income. All right. I think that sometimes we miss the step, and that one step is what keeps us in debt. All right. So credit card rewards, travel rewards, leveraging the bank's money, better interest rates. Many of you, again, I'm your credit coach, or you know me because I've been someone you are associated with, credit coach. And my ultimate goal for everybody on my wealthy team is to have at least 100,000, 90 to 100,000 in available credit. What that does, now, I don't want you to think available credit is debt. Available credit means that on your credit report, the bank has trusted you with 90 to 100,000. That could mean 8 credit cards for 10,000 or 4 credit cards for 25,000. It can mean a mixture of things. But what it shows is whenever you go work to get your income producing property, or you work to go get your business line of credit, or you go work to get your apartment complex or whatever it is that you desire, which that's part of the wealth plan, a bank can, when a bank looks at your report card, which is your credit report, it shows that you've been trusted with a large amount of money. With my credit is bad, I got medical bills. Well, there's ways to get out of that. There's laws to protect you. There's laws to get you out of debt. There's laws to get negative things off of your credit. So I've helped a lot of people. A bunch of points, baby. Look at this. I'm so excited.
Look like this.
Hey.
It went up in no time.
And now, well, look at my credit score.
They know exactly what they're doing, and they do not waste time.
Get your life back. Seriously, take a leap of faith.
All right, so credit. We know credit is very important. Credit is the foundation of building a wealth plan. So if you're not working on your credit, credit should be at the top of your list. If I'm going to sit down and say, hey, the trajectory of my life is in the next 5 years, I want a better life for my family. I want a better life for my kids. I just want a better life. And I know that God didn't create me to be poor, struggling, living from paycheck to paycheck. Or even if I acquire money, I want to know, have discipline to know what to do with it. That's where we're at with many of you. We circulated in my group, we circulated over almost $1 million in the last 14 days. So all of that money is being circulated through our community, but what do we do with it? How do we do we do with it? What do we do with it when we don't know what to do with it? All right. So first, you got to believe. All right. And before I became very successful as far as finance, I've had some rough times, and in spite of those rough times, I always believed that God had created me to be something more than what I saw in the mirror. And I believe that he created me to be more than what I experienced in my life. So the hurt that I experienced, I decided I was not going to allow my mother issues, my daddy issues, my family issues to keep me from where my destiny was. All right. So I had to deal with those things, but I had to believe that it was possible. Many of us don't believe that it's possible because we've never experienced it. So how can we believe that we can achieve the greatest level of success if we've never seen it for ourselves? It's hard. So then when we see something, we think it's a scam, or we think it's not real, or we think it's too good to be true. Well, to me, that's not faith. Faith is believing in the things that you can't see. So I always believed, even when I couldn't see it, I believed that I would acquire massive success, massive wealth, and I would be in a position to help my friends, my family, and my community. That was my daily prayer. We can't pray that God's going to open up the windows of heaven and pour us out blessings that we don't have room to receive it, and then we don't really believe it, because that contradicts our faith, right? All right. So you got to believe that you can become a millionaire. I think that so many people tell us, yeah, you can do anything you want to do. You could be anything you want to be. We tell our kids they could be anything they want to be. I mean, but what if your child says, hey, I want to be a millionaire? Or what if your child says, hey, I want to be the next Bill Gates, or I want to start a tech company? All of these things require resources and money. So we need to be able to know how to get it. So when you start talking about pyramid schemes, I think that a lot of us, our mindset is stuck at the ground level, because that's what we've seen in our family. Our families worked. They paid bills, they provided. Our families worked. They paid bills, they provided. So we've seen that for generation to generation. So all we know is working. And there's nothing wrong with working. But when you work, you should use which I'm gonna show you in a second, you should use a portion of your earned income to invest so that one day you don't have to work, all right, for someone else. And you can start your own company, or you could do whatever it is you desire to do. So I believe that when you start talking about pyramid schemes, a pyramid scheme is when somebody at the bottom is fueling the lifestyle of the person at the top. And to me, I think that we all should strive to be CEOs, because I met a billionaire once. Well, I met many of them, but I met one once, and I said, hey, what is the key to becoming a billionaire? He said, DeMont, I'm not any smarter than you or any of the other people that you associate with. He said, the only difference between us is that I find people to invest in that have great ideas. He said, I've never had a great idea. He said, but I have the resources. I save my money. I have the resources to invest in people that don't have the discipline to save their money and invest in their own ideas. So there are people out there that will fund your idea or your dream. I tell my team that there's never an idea or a business that you should have that you don't accomplish, because if you have good credit and you have business credit, you can go to the bank and get anything you want. We are conditioned to not trust the bank. So we're conditioned to think that the bank is going to steal from us. That's what we're conditioned to do. But other cultures, the bank funds all of their projects, not just the group economic thing. They go to banks and ask them for loans for apartment complexes and for a lot of the businesses that we support with our $1 trillion a year. All right. So when you start talking about credit is the foundation of being able to go to the bank and get the bank's money to fund it. A billionaire told me, he said, DeMont, how do you think that Donald Trump has filed bankruptcy 6 times? He said he filed it on the bank's money. He's still rich. But many of us fund our dreams with our savings or with money that we came into a lump sum. So we got to be in position. So what is wealth? I want you to put that into the group, into the comments, and I want you to tell me what you think your definition of wealth is. This is my definition of wealth. Can somebody read this for me?
Wealth is what, go ahead.
Wealth is when you have abundance of assets.
Assets or valuable possessions. If you have cash, you don't have, I can't see that. Wealth.
You don't have cash, you don't have wealth, you have riches.
Thank you, Karen. Coach Karen, volunteer Karen. I appreciate you. All right, so just for a second, can everybody take this test for me real quick? This is called the wealth test. This is a test I put together. It's going to tell you exactly where you are as far as wealth is concerned. I don't want you to be ashamed. Can everybody see it? I don't want you to be ashamed, because what this is going to do is this is going to show you the areas that you need to focus in. So when I get my lump sum of money, or when I get my residual income, or when I make an extra $10,000, or when I make an extra $5,000, what are some of the things and where are some of the things that I need to put my money so that I can start occurring wealth? This is personal. This is personal. So if this was just you and I would ask you what your score is, but we're in a group full of a lot of people. So I'm gonna just tell you to keep this score yourself, and you focus on the areas that you are not scoring well in. All right, so I'm gonna give you like 2 more minutes. The next time, if you join my team or if you're a part of my team, ultimately, the next time I ask you to take this test, your score should double. And if you follow the plan that I'm putting together for you, your score will double. All right, for sake of time, we're gonna keep going. Everybody good? All right. All right, so I don't believe that there's a middle class. A lot of people have tried to put us in the middle class for a long time. I don't believe there's a middle class. I believe that you have 2 classes, and that's just my opinion. I believe that you have the poor, which are people that are making just enough money to pay their bills. And then I believe that you have the rich, which is people that their money is making money. All right. So we can't just put our money in a 401k, and I'll go into that later. I'll go in a later class. We can't just put our money into the bank. Our money needs to be making money for us. So we have to get educated in those areas so that we're not poor. All right. All right. So these are some of the reasons why people stay poor. And I don't surround myself with these types of people. And hopefully you change the people you surround yourself with, because as Dan Pena says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So you got to watch the people that you surround yourself with. All right. You can't think that money is the root of all evil. You can't max out all your credit cards. The key to credit, and my coaches that I coach will tell you this, the key to credit is you never spend anything on a credit card that you don't have in the bank to pay it off right away. All right. So if I don't have it in the bank, I do not spend it on my credit card. So therefore, I don't end up in credit card debt. The only reason I'm even using credit is so that I can build credit with that bank, or I can build points, or I can build rewards and build a relationship with that bank so they can continue to give me increases. I'm not spending credit. Just because I have an extra $1,000 card doesn't mean I have an extra $1,000. All right. All right. So they never look at poor people never look at their bank account. They just spend. So that's why banks make so much money on overdraft fees. All right. Banks actually make more money in overdraft fees than they do in interest on loans. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
That's how banks live, is off overdraft fees, off of poor people that don't know how to manage their money and don't know how to balance their accounts. Right? We're taking a short break. Take a water break, y'all. I need to make sure that. Y'all still with me? Tell me if y'all with me or not. And then put your phone back on mute.
I'm with you.
I'm here.
With you, I'm with you.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm educating
With you.
myself.
Do it. Yes, sir.
I'm listening. With you when you're right.
I'm not with you. I am not with you.
Power.
With you.
That was Darnell that said he's not with me. Y'all don't listen to him. He is definitely with me. Could not make it.
Yep. Brother Big.
All right, so again, I believe that before I made my first million, I studied millionaires, and I also studied poor people. I have a lot of poor people in my community. I have a lot of poor people that I had seen growing up, and I have a lot of poor people that I love, and so I studied their habits. So I studied what they did with their money. I studied rich people, and I studied millionaires, and I studied common denominators that rich people had, or that wealthy people had. Like 80% of them trade stock, 90% of them own real estate. They're givers, so they're philanthropists, and they give to their communities, and they give to other countries, and they give to homeless, and they give. So I learned a lot of their habits compared to the poor people that I had grew up around, and I compared and contrasted those things, and that's how I have acquired a level of success that most of my peers that I grew up with have not. And that's because I took the time to understand how I was where I was. All right. 60% of the country has less than $1,000 in the bank. That means that every 500 people that you meet are broke. They're broke, but we're supposed to live in the richest land in the world, right? So again, I honestly feel like that, and this is my opinion. Again, I'm not teaching you guys this. This is my opinion. I feel like the school system is designed to keep us conformed to working a job and building a plantation for whoever the man at the top is. That's what I feel. I feel like we're not given the equipment that we need to be highly successful. And that is based upon education. So if we're not educated, then we remain oppressed. So we can't keep dependent on the system that's created for us to continue to build plantations to teach us how to be highly successful. We have to learn this information ourselves. We have to teach this information to our kids so that they are not oppressed. And so that when we tell them, you can do anything you want to do, you can be anything you want to be. Yeah, if you want to go to college, that's your choice. But if you don't want to go to college, don't think that you won't be successful. You want to go. I told my son, I said, you're going to college, and the people that you meet are going to be a part of your network. You're not going to college to go be trained to go work for somebody for the rest of your life and be unhappy. We're not doing that. All right. So the biggest lies about money. All right. So these are things that I want you to unlearn, because you've learned them throughout life. And a lot of times we say they said. Whenever somebody says they said, that means they don't really know a source. It's just a myth. So these are myths that I want you to unlearn, because there's no truth to it, and we don't have a real source for it, because wealthy people and rich people don't think this way. But we've been taught this in our communities, that you're throwing away money when you're paying your rent. That's not true. All right. And I could prove that, and I will soon. Buying a home is always a good investment. That's not true. A house is a liability, so that's not true. A house is not always a good investment. You need a lot of money to start investing. You don't. That's not true. You don't need a lot of money to start investing. You can start investing $10 a week, or you can start investing $20 a month. You can start investing, you're teaching yourself discipline. You can start investing $100 a month. So that's not true. You don't have to have a lot of money to invest. Investing is complicated and for the wealthy. That's not true. That's not true. So anybody can invest. All you have to do is learn where to put your money, where to save your money, what type of vehicle to put your money in, or be a part of an investment group where you put in a little bit of money every month, and in 12 months you guys have enough money to go acquire something larger. So it's not true. All right. So that's something that we've been taught in our community. You should always avoid credit cards. Not true. My grandfather taught me this. My great uncle taught me this, who was very influential. I love them because they were very influential in me growing up, but they didn't have an idea about credit. So they told me, don't fool with those credit cards. Don't get none of those credit. Those credit cards are the devil. And then 20 years later, I was in Beverly Hills, California, and I meet a billionaire. And the billionaire tells me that credit is going to be the solution for every one of your business ideas. He said, you need as many relationships with banks as virtually possible. He said, paying your credit, he said, the banks have more money than you have. He said, so if you have an idea or you have a business, you need to get the resources from the bank. But that's based upon your portfolio. That's based upon whether you paid your bills on time. We were taught, the bill collector calls, tell him I'm not at home. So those are things that we were taught. And we can't keep teaching our kids this, because we're setting them up for failure. We were taught that student loans are good debt. They're not. They're set up for us to fail. I was at Ruth Chris. I met a man at the bar, and we were talking, and he said, you know what, Damon? He said, I sent my kids to school, but I didn't get government student loans. He said, I got private student loans. He said, and this was he was telling me his trick. He said, I got, and then when I got into a hard time, I was able to file bankruptcy on that, and I just wrote all of that debt off. He said, but with government student loans, you can't file that, and you're stuck with that for the rest of your life. He said, but I had good enough credit to get the private student loans for my kids. So I think that, and I'm not telling everybody to do that. I'm saying that private student loans are a way to go, or savings is a way to go if you want to make sure that your child has the best education possible. I strongly don't believe that higher education teaches our kids the best education possible. I think that it's up to us to learn the information to teach the best thing possible. All right. So I also want you to take this test. I want you to put the answers in the comments. All right. So I want you to look at your age, and I want you to tell me what your net worth should be if you're in the 1% of your age group. And we all should want to be a high achiever. None of us should want to remain average. I don't believe that by coincidence you came here because you want to be average. If you wanted to be average, you would be watching Netflix right now. If you want to be average, you be on Facebook, searching around, looking at the gossip, the latest gossip and what people are doing and trying to figure out what's going on. But you somehow ended up in my masterclass, DeMont Nixon, the wealth coach who wants to create 100 millionaires in the next year, and you're listening to the information that I'm giving you. So that's not average. But you have to understand where you are in order to know where you want to go, because you have to address why you are where you are. Why are you not in the 1% in your age group? It's not because somebody didn't give you an opportunity, because people are creating opportunities on social media and becoming millionaires overnight. People are coming up, a lot of those ideas that you've had, people have copywritten those ideas, and people have launched those businesses, and they didn't have a lot of money. So it's not about that you're not equipped. It's about that what you've been doing, it's just not the right blueprint. You got to try something else that's not working. Because you're doing, a lot of us did it based upon what grandma and mama taught us. And with all due respect, grandma and mama just taught us what they were taught. And they didn't know. And when you're a parent, you don't get a training manual. You just teach your kids what you think. And because we don't learn finance in school or in our community, it's very hard to teach your kids finance when you don't know it. You teach them what you think. Yeah, baby, you need to pay your bills on time. Yeah, baby, you need credit. Yeah, baby. But so we teach them what we just think, you know. So it's very important that you learn this information and that you are in the 1% of your community, your age group. All right. So I know 4 people that have won millions of dollars in the lottery 6 years ago, and they're broke. I know 2 people that have acquired a lot of money through life insurance policies, and today they're broke. The question is, why? So we think that it's money, but when we get the money, we're still not conditioned to understand it. So why? Why is 80% of the NBA African American, and by the time they retire, they're bankrupt? Why? I ask myself, I go through this because I want to know why, so that I can do the opposite. So we got to know why. Why are people broke? Why do people acquire millions of dollars and in 2 years it's predicted that they'll be broke? All right. So you can take a rich person that has a broke mindset, and they're always going to remain broke, because even if they acquire money, they're going to lose it because they're going to put their money into liabilities. They're going to buy jewelry. They're going to buy cars. They're going to buy houses. They're going to buy all the things that don't mean anything and depreciate. All right. Broke people that have a broke mindset will always stay broke. Many of us know those types of people. Rich people that have a rich mindset will remain rich, and their wealth will be transferred to future generations. Broke people that have a rich mindset, all it takes is a mindset, will become rich because of their mindset. And that was me. I grew up broke. I grew in an environment that was broke, but I was determined that I was going to be not just what I am now as far as someone that teaches and helps people, but I decided that I was not going to die a statistic of a person that didn't have money to do what God sent me here to do. If I didn't have the money to do what I was sitting here to do, when I sit here and say, hey, I want to have a black bank, so that I have to say this disclaimer, but I've never been in the cannabis industry. I've never tried cannabis at all. I have a lot of people around me that have, and I don't judge anybody. People can do what they want to do. But there are banks that I know that's a good market to be in, but there are banks that don't mess with people in the cannabis industry. So if we opened up a bank and now we're able to fund a lot of the projects in the cannabis industry, which is, again, going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, that we would be able to help our communities from the resources that we gain from the banks. If we open our own bank, now we're able to give lines of credit. We're able to help people in our community. So when you start talking about closing the wealth gap, we got to have resources. We got to have ownership. We can't keep going to the man every time we want to get some soup. All right, so that's where we at. All right, so again, it's a mindset. So broke people jump on every trend. Broke people dress like they're rich. Broke people spend money on cars and shoes. Broke people party every weekend. Rich people, again, we got to study the difference between the two, because it's very, if you're going to acquire massive wealth, and that's what your affirmations are every day, you have to change your mindset and your habits. So rich people save, they invest into trends. That clothes are not that important to them. They invest in books and seminars. They learn something new every day. All right? So we can't just keep doing the norm and think that our life and our narrative is going to change. All right? All right. So now we're going to talk about how do we get it. All right? My godfather, who is a multimillionaire, who was one of my mentors, was in Indianapolis. We was having a discussion, and we were talking about, me, my goal for my life, and I want to be known for helping the most people in my community acquire massive success and all of those things. So he said, there's one thing, godson, that you got to do if you want this to happen. He says, you got to evolve. So I went and I broke down the word evolve, and evolve means that you always have to develop gradually. You can never stay the same. So that word is one word that I stand on every single day, and I teach my team, is that we've got to evolve. And you can't apologize for evolving and for changing. We want it to become better and want it to build a legacy for your children, your children's children. You can't apologize for wanting more. For some reason in our community, we were taught, if I say I want to be rich, I'm just, people will go look a certain kind of way, or I say I want to be a millionaire, there's something wrong with it. All right, I feel like that. My mother said everybody's not gonna be a millionaire, and I believe that. But I believe that everyone can be a millionaire. All they have to do is believe it. That's what I believe. And it's not, a millionaire doesn't make you successful. Millionaire doesn't make you any better than the man standing on the corner that needs a meal. But a millionaire, being a millionaire or a multimillionaire or a billionaire or whatever, helps you to be able to find solutions to the problems, because it takes money. All right? So that requires self-discipline, self-education, and a team. And I believe that, and that's what helped change my life. All right, then he told me, it's a millionaire talking to me. He said, then what you got to do, Demont, is you got to quit just having your goals in your head. You got to write them down. So I write my goals down every single day. Every morning, I have a whiteboard in my room. I write down my goals for the day. Then I have a book that I write down my goals for every quarterly for 3 months. Then I have a 6-month goals. Then I have a year goals. At the beginning of this year, I wrote 400 goals down. I've acquired, even in COVID, I've acquired about 20% of them so far. All right? So goals are very important. We can't, when I talk to people, they said, well, I had my goals in my head, Alma. They said, I got them in my head. I know what I want to do. Well, that's just the dream. All right? That's just the dream. A goal is when you can write your goal down, and when you can determine, put a timeline on that goal. So when you write your goals down, say, not, oh, I want to be wealthy. No, I'm going to acquire $1 million in the next 5 years. Or I'm going to, I want to be debt free. There's nothing wrong with debt. There's good debt and bad debt, which I'm going to show you in a few seconds. So we can't say I want to be debt free, because debt is not bad, because there's some good debt that can help take your life to a whole nother level. So you have to be clear on what your goals are and put a time frame next to it. So you have to hold yourself accountable for that time frame. I want to get my credit together. All right, not just I want to get my credit, that could last for the next 6 years. I'm going to get my credit score to a 730 in the next 6 months. I'm going to do what it takes to get there. What you got to learn about people that have massive success is that they do not just talk. They go find people that can help them in the area that they need help. They are not one-man shows. They don't have pride. If they need help with their credit, they go find a credit coach. If they need an electrician, they go find an electrician. If they need to lose some weight, they go find a fitness trainer. If they need help in any area, it can even be mental health. They go find a therapist. They go get the help that they need in that area. They don't try to just figure out everything by themselves because we don't know everything. We're not experienced in everything. All right? So what I learned about the secrets of the rich is that they pay themselves first. They make money work for them. They invest in things that they know. They find a mentor. They find a mentor. They're not too prideful to say, hey, I failed, or hey, I messed up, or hey, I don't know it all. I need help. That's what finding a mentor is. It's saying, hey, I need help. And rejection, my problem was I'm very prideful. I don't ask for help. So I've been blessed to have mentors after I acquired a certain level of success. I did not have mentors before that time. Now, what I've learned is that when you ask someone for something, a lot of times we get discouraged because maybe the first person's too busy, or the first person, we asked them, could we take them out to lunch? Maybe they can help us. And they didn't show up, or they didn't respond to our email. They didn't respond to our message. So we get turned off because we don't even like asking for help, because that's part of our pride issue. So the key to massive success is that you got to keep trying. If you don't find the person that you need, you got to keep going, because there's someone out there that God has for you that knows and has been assigned to you, and they're willing to help you. And maybe you don't have the money to pay them, but just say, hey, I'm gonna pay you what I have. Maybe they won't even charge you, who knows? But you have to find someone in the area that you're weakest so that they can help you and hold you accountable. Because what that does is that expedites your process. Because now the people that are on my team, the mistakes that I made 10 years ago, they don't make now. Because I tell them, don't do that. I did that. I tried that. Don't try to go around that corner, because I've already been there. So, and then I got thousands of people that I coach. So the mistakes that they made, I take note of, and I teach the other people on my team. So it's very important that you find someone to mentor you or coach you, and do not allow pride to cause you to say, I'm done. Like, nobody cares. Nobody wants to help me. No, it's somebody out there that's assigned to you. Just know that. All right, stay ahead of your competition. I told my transfer team this the other day, is that you cannot spend your time on things that don't matter. So you have to watch webinars. So when everybody leaves the office and I shut down, I turn on YouTube and I start watching webinars. And I went to a seminar with Grant Cardone. If anybody knows me, knows that I love Grant Cardone. He's a billionaire, and I've learned a lot from him. I went to his 10X conference. The tickets was $2,500. Most people be like, I ain't even paying no $2,500. But the people that were in the room that I've connected with, that I still have relationships with now, are very, very prominent and influential people that could help me in many, many areas, and they have. So certain levels put you in positions to be with certain levels of people. So when I sit in first class, it's a whole different experience than when I sit and coach. I meet people in first class that I wouldn't meet in coach, if that makes sense. All right, go to seminars. Now, because of COVID, you can find people that have many seminars online, live seminars. They're giving them away now. People that were selling their seminars for $2,000 and $3,000. They giving them away for $15.99, $29.99. So you've got to find the information. You cannot just sit around waiting on something to happen, because it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, you're not going to be prepared. All right, go to the gym. And my team, we practice health is wealth. Go walk. Go do something constructive. You have to stay ahead of people that are sitting around at the bars. I live in LA. People on the Eastern time are 3 hours ahead of us. So I have to, in my mind, when I go to bed, I have to get up 3 hours early because it's people on the Eastern time that have already been working 3 hours. I can't just sit around, go to sleep, and say, oh, I'm just get up at 10 o'clock. I don't have that privilege because I'm a high achiever. I create high achievers, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to reach a certain level, a massive level of success. I cannot do things that average people do. So I don't hang with average people. I don't go to bars. I don't do all of that stuff that average people do. I don't do it. I'm somewhere constructing and working on my plan. All right? All right. I suggest that you also, maybe this is after COVID, but you should travel. And when I study very successful people, they travel, they see the world, they see other things. They're able to see how other races work together. They're able to see the world for what it is instead of getting, they believe that you have to get outside of your community and your comfort zone every 3 to 6 months so that when you come back, you're able now to be creative. When you can step outside of your comfort zone and come back, now you're able to think and you're able to build and you're able to work harder versus just being consumed with doing the same repetition, the same thing over and over. All right, so this is the portfolio I'm about to teach you guys. We're almost done in a few minutes. It's an income-driven portfolio. All right, there's 5 different types of portfolios. We're going to talk about the income-driven portfolio. You cannot say, I want to be wealthy, and you don't know what type of portfolio that you're trying to build, okay? All right, here's Jay-Z. So here's Jay-Z's portfolio. Jay-Z's portfolio, he has real estate, he has an art collection, he has a music catalog, he has Rock Nation, he has Tidal, he has Douce, which is a drink, he has cash and investments, and he has Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades is 31% of his portfolio. Ace of Spades is a product. It's a product. So if I'm building out my wealth plan, what does that tell me? That tells me that first of all, I need diversification. Second of all, it's not one thing, one business or one this or one that ultimately is going to help me to acquire this massive wealth. It's going to be multiple investments in multiple different things. And it tells me that in today's world, I need a product. That's what it tells me, all right? This is his Bill Gates portfolio. So it's a mixture of other things, but again, Bill Gates has more money. But it still shows us diversification. It doesn't show us that I'm just going to go work a job and one day I'm going to be rich. I'm going to live my dream house. Or I'm just going to go invest in whatever my business is, and one day I'm going to have everything that I need. A business should be self-sustaining, and remember, a business does not typically make a profit for 3 to 5 years because you always are reinvesting in that business to make it bigger. All right. So what is your net worth? Put in the comments real quick what you would like for your net worth to be in the next 12 months. What do you believe that your net worth should be in the next 12 months? All right. Now this is what I need. This is your homework assignment. So within 24 hours, I need you to send me the PDF version of your current net worth. So I need you to go to my website, www.coachdemont.com. This is free to do it. click the green button. The green button says get your net worth now. I want you to fill out all the information. It'll take you about 5 or 10 minutes. Fill out all the information and email me the PDF version of your net worth. I'm an accountability partner. So in a year or 2 years, no, I'll say a year. In a year, we should be able to look back at that and show your growth. Because remember, we should always evolve. Okay? So but in order to know where you want to go, you got to know where you are. You can't just around and say, oh, well, I ain't worth. You don't know what you're worth because you never taken you never done it. All right, so this is how I get my people to the next level, is credit. This is the 7 streams of wealth, and I want you to write them down. This is what my wealth team is working on right now. And if you're not on my wealth team, you're behind. And if you don't have 7 streams of income, you're behind. If you're not working on 7 streams of income, you're behind. If you're not making money in your sleep, you're behind. So we're going to go through each one of them. You don't have to write them down right now, but we're going to go through each one of them. It's not going to take us long. I'm going to be, in order to be strong, I don't have to be long. All right. So as you guys know, I flipped over 100 houses. So my background is in real estate. So I know how to make a lot of money in real estate. I've made a lot of money in real estate. I've helped a lot of people make a lot of money in real estate. The power of real estate investing is using the bank's money as leverage. So in this particular deal, we took 100,000 of hard money. Hard money is a loan that's connected to the house and the deal. All right. It doesn't matter what your credit is. It doesn't matter. Hard money loan. Google it. All right. Google is your friend today. Hard money lenders. Hard money lenders is how I flipped 4 to 5 houses a month when I was flipping heavily. All right. So you take 100,000 of the hard money lending money, you buy 5 houses. You have lines of credit from your credit or money that you saved or whatever. So you do your rehabs. So after that, you sell the 5 houses and now you have $500,000. You pay the hard money loan off and you recoup your business credit cards or whatever you use to redo the 5 houses. And now you should have at least 300,000. All right. I've done this multiple times. I'm going to show you how. All right. So there's multiple reasons why real estate should be a part of your portfolio. Number 1 is real estate. You get income from rent. Do you guys know that you don't pay money for cash flow? Rent is considered cash flow. You have asset appreciation. You have taxes and benefits. You have long-term stability. So this is money that you get from income producing properties. I honestly believe that African Americans, this is my philosophy, and some of you may agree, maybe some of you may not. And if you don't, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. I believe that in our community, we built so many plantations and we built so many neighborhoods and so many businesses. We built America. All right. And I believe that when we got to when we got through segregation and we started being able to live wherever we wanted to live, then we were just taught that home ownership was good. No one told us that the people that we were trying to compete against had cash flow that was paying for them to live in suburban areas and for their kids to go to private schools. No one told us that those people weren't working 9 to 5 jobs to support those lifestyles. So when we saw someone drive down the street in a Mercedes or a Bentley, we thought that they were going to working 40 hours because that's all we ever did was work to get what we got. So we missed a step. Now, I'm not telling you, I'll never tell you what you can't have. I just think that there's a way to get it. And cash flow from income producing properties or from investments is what those other people is what funds your house in the suburbs or your boat or your car or your watches or your jewelry or whatever you want to do. So I think that when we were able to get approved for houses, nobody told us the difference between assets and liabilities. So when you learn assets and liabilities, you won't even want to own a house unless somebody else is paying for it, because you realize you don't really own it, the bank owns it. And why am I going to take in this deal right here? So let me show you this deal. So this is a deal in Chicago. So why am I going to take $110,000 and go buy me a house? Let's say $135,000. So Alma, why am I going to go get a loan for $135,000 and go buy me a house that's not going to produce me no income when I can go buy me an income producing property? I can go get me a loan, give me an income producing property and end up with $1,500 a month that can pay for me to live. So these three people right here in this building pay for us to live. You feel me? So this is the deal. So it's a 3-unit building, was purchased for $110,000. The rehab was $40,000. Remember, we got the money from a hard money lender, so that's not our money. We just borrowed it until we refinanced the project. The $40,000 was the rehab. ARV means after repair value. So that means what this building is worth after it's repaired and up to market standards. The equity now is $122,000. So what we put into the project was 10%, which was $15,000. The closing cost was $4,000, so just $19,000. Some of you have made that in the transfer in the last 2 weeks. Some of you have made that in the transfer in the last 2 weeks for $19,000. Y'all could go buy y'all income producing property, but some of y'all going to look for cars that depreciate. All right, so after it's been refinanced, it's refinanced for $135,000 because remember we got to pay that hard money lender off. So now the mortgage payment for this building is $1,375. So rent number one for unit number one is $1,150. Rent number two is $900. Rent number three is $900. So that's a total gross income of $2,950. Remember I told you, you do not pay taxes on cash flow. So that's why Donald Trump don't owe no taxes, because all his money comes from cash flow from all his high rises and apartment buildings. All right, so the mortgage payment is $1,375. So every month we're banking $1,575 cash flow. So when we start talking about buying a house, then let's talk about buying a house. If you want to talk about buying a condo, then let's talk about buying a condo. So I call that house hacking. So house hacking is when your cash flow, you have a building or income stream that supports your every bill. So I have a building that supports me to live. I have a building that supports me to drive my exotic car. I have a building that supports me to go out to 5-star restaurants whenever I want to. I have a building that helps me to go on trips and vacations. That's cash flow, okay? So again, I'm not knocking people that own houses. I just think that we missed a step. So, you know, I mean, everyone says ownership and ownership. Who really wants to live in 2020? Who really wants to live in one place for 30 years? And then by the time, I've watched this happen with so many of my elderly family members. And then by the time you halfway pay down the house, you got to take the equity out of the house to pay for the roof or pay for the electrical because it's outdated, because we know that things change in 30 years. So I gotta put new windows. I gotta put an air conditioner. So you borrow money against the house, refinance it, pull the cash out. You know, so we say that buying a house is home ownership, but in those 30 years that we had taken that loan, how much money would we have had if we were making $1,300 or $1,400 a month from that $100,000 loan, while other people were paying? All right, so the difference between assets and liabilities is assets you're making money from, liabilities you don't make any money from. So if you have a house that you pay a mortgage, you're not making any money from it, so your house is a liability. All right. All right, so this is what I call house hacking. So house hacking is the difference between buying a house and renting. All right, so buying a house, this is the difference. You pay a mortgage. There's no passive income. And I told you guys I flipped over 100 houses, so I know real estate backwards and forwards. Emotional purchase. You invest hoping that the value is going to go up. We don't know that the value is going to go up in our areas. We don't know that. And the way that the economy goes, values are like a clock. They 1 minute they go up, 1 minute they go down. So we don't know that. So, and then a house is an emotional purchase. So when you go see a house, you know, you love it, you love the area, you love the schools, you love the updates. So it's emotional. Wealthy people teach you should never make emotional purchases. A purchase should be made based upon whether that's a great investment. A great investment means that I'm going to make money from this investment, not I'm going to get more in debt. All right. All right. I'm almost done. I want y'all to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. So I want you to watch this video, okay? Don't get tired on me. Are y'all still with me? If y'all tired, we'll talk about this next week.
No, keep going.
We're not tired. Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going.
Keep it up.
Don't you dare stop.
Yeah, we are not tired of that.
Keep going. We learning.
Keep
going.
All right. Y'all know my voice is going now, so if y'all get tired, I was going to stop. All right.
Nah, drink some more water.
4. Now we're going to shoot one of the more evil of all the snake tells. Evil for most people. Get out of debt. And a lot of people are saying, cut up your credit cards. I think that's really ridiculous because the credit card is not the problem. In fact, I love my credit cards. I don't know how anybody could get along today without a credit card. But the credit card isn't the problem. It's lack of financial education is the problem.
The entire currency supply, all of the dollars in existence, require debt. You can't have a dollar without debt. A dollar is just an IOU. It's borrowed into existence either by the government creating a bond, which promises to pay interest. You've got to pay out of future taxes, or people create currency by taking out a loan at the bank, fractional reserve lending. Every month, there's a payment due on those dollars that you created.
Right, and this credit card is a fast way of creating money because there's really no money in this card. See, let's say I go to the store, there's no money in it, and I charge $100. Like magic, $100 is created and it flows into the economy. That's why debt is good. But when you abuse this, that's when we get in trouble. So I think, Mr. Rodney here, you see the horror stories of bad debt, don't you?
Yeah, I've seen people walk into my office that make $150,000 a year, but they have $250,000 in credit card debt. Let's face it, we live in a credit society and you do have to have credit. And we have to learn how to survive and thrive in our credit economy that we are. But, people are walking in and they have this bad debt. They're asking, what do we do with it? Well, number one, you try to pay off the bad debt so you can invest in good debt, which would be real estate.
And we love debt, don't we?
Yeah, we have a lot of debt. Our real estate that we own is all basically financed with our tenants. So that's what I consider to be good debt. So when we get real estate, we get proper leverage, and it's paid by all the residents that live in all of our projects.
Well, and it's not just real estate. Business is the same way. I mean, we have good debt in business as well. So that the business is paying, we have debt in our business. That's how we grow. And it's the cash flow from the business that's able to pay the debt, and the debt creates more cash flow.
Time out. Capital gains versus cash flow. See, in my opinion, 90% of the people invest for capital gains. That's why they say, well, my stock price went up or my house went up in value. That's capital gains. People like myself understand cash flow. In other words, I want a steady paycheck every single month. For example, my apartment house, every month it puts cash flow in my pocket. So if you want to be rich, you have to know the difference between capital gains and cash flow. Capital gains is technically gambling. You're hoping something will change. Cash flow is more guaranteed. I want that income every month. So very intelligent investors invest for both capital gains and cash flow. People say, I like real estate. I don't really like real estate. I just love debt because it's so easy to get a loan on real estate, right?
Well, here, I like the analogy that you use sometimes. Say, if you put $1 million of of cash into a mutual fund, you get whatever you get paid. But if you put $1 million of it in a down payment, for some kind of a commercial project like we have, you actually buy a $5 million project.
Right.
So you're actually getting a $5 million asset with $1 million versus $1 million of mutual funds. And so the value you're creating on that real estate is on the 5 million, not the 1 million, by using banks leverage.
And the tax benefits that you get on the real estate isn't on the 1 million either. It's on the 5 million. So you not only increase leverage on your cash flow and on your growth in your asset, but you also increase your leverage on your taxes.
Well, here's what we're doing. We get these loans, the tenants are paying them off. That's the point. Oftentimes people don't look at that.
And they're paying it off with after-tax dollars.
Yeah, they're moving into our places. They're paying our rent. We're taking that rent and we're paying our mortgages, and our mortgages are getting paid down to zero.
Wait a minute. Ken's talking about these $1 million deals. Let me tell you how I started. I'm somebody that knew absolutely nothing about money or financing or investing, and I began investing with a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and this was back in 1989. The house cost me $45,000. I had to put down $5,000, of which I didn't have, and I had a mortgage or good debt of $40,000. And the reason it was good debt is because every month I would collect the rent, I would pay the expenses, I would pay my mortgage payment, and at the end of the month, I had a positive cash flow of $25. Now, it wasn't a lot, but it was a start. And from there, I learned, and I did my next investment and my next investment. So it was good debt because that debt put money in my pocket every single month. Just if people understood that there is such a thing as good debt, because I don't know how many people I talk to, but when I talk about debt, oh man, debt is the dirtiest word in the world. That's the 4-letter word, debt.
Because they're not educated,
no,
that's what.
And people are raised, and I was raised to get out of debt.
You see, this is the thing. You go to a bank, and the banker will sell you a mutual fund. But ask them if they will loan you money to buy those mutual funds. The answer is no. But if we go in and we say, we want to buy real estate, oh, how much do you want?
It's because there's collateral.
Yes.
They actually have something physical. That's it.
Yeah, they'll sell you mutual funds, but they won't lend you money on mutual funds. That should tell you something. That should be a quick indicator. Dear God, what are you trying to tell me?
Mm-hmm.
And the other part about it is that borrowed money for real estate, is that after tax, pre-tax, or no tax?
It's no tax. Anytime you're borrowing money, there's no tax on that money. You can use that cash. It's not taxable at all.
So if somebody wants to borrow $1 million or save $1 million, it'll probably take them $2 million to save the million because tax is going to take 50% of it.
Right.
But I just go straight in and borrow $1 million, which they give us. It's great money. I love my banker. I'm not saying bankers are bad. They're fabulous because they give us the money. All they want is their interest. We keep all the appreciation, depreciation, amortization. We keep all of it. They're the best partners of all. So I'm not anti-bank and I'm not anti-debt. I'm anti-lack of financial education because there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Your rich dad was a tough mentor. But, I think some of the greatest mentors are tough because a really great mentor will push you to go beyond where you think you can go. And that's some of my best mentors. That's what they've done for me.
Yeah, and I didn't always listen to my rich dad. I still remember I did the real estate course, and I went running out in Honolulu, and I found this condo, and it was for $64,000, and it didn't cash flow. So I went to see my rich dad, and I said, but it's going to go up in value. In other words, capital gains. He says, never buy anything that goes up. It must cash flow. And I said, no, it's going to go up. And we argued and argued and argued. And this is what he said to me. He says, if you start investing for capital gains, someday you will lose big time. So I let that condo go. I didn't pay $64,000. Today it's probably worth $300,000, but I learned a lesson from my coach, my rich dad. If I had gotten into the habit of buying for capital gains, either the price of stocks going up or real estate going up, I might have been wiped out in this crisis. So that's why a coach and a mentor keeps you onto your plan.
And helps you create and develop very, very good financial habits. Because if you have poor financial habits as you're in your personal life, you're going to take those into your investment life. So one of the most important things is they will help you develop great financial habits.
Because when markets go up, greed sets in, and greed makes people stupid.
All right, so I think that everybody should read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you have not read that book, that was the very first book that I started reading in business. It helped me with my mindset. It helped me understand that a lot of the things that my I didn't have a poor dad, but a lot of things that I learned from poor people, it was different from what rich people taught. All right, so we got to start. That's why I'm dedicated to teaching you or your kid, to anybody else. I'm dedicated, and people tell me, they'll be like, the game's supposed to be sold and not told. And there's other people in my category that charge a lot of money for coaching and for their time, and they won't show up unless you pay them, or they won't talk to you. I try to teach what I know, and I think that I've done a pretty good job at that. I still want to acquire a school so that I can start teaching our kids, because that's very important to me and my legacy. So now it's how we gonna make $1 million. All right. And it's not just about $1 million. So I want y'all to think that I'm money driven, but I do know that money drives dreams. All right. So just say, for instance, this is how I make a million a year or more. I have a product or a service. I do credit. I have a credit coaching program, and then I have a team that fixes credit. And so the billionaire that I met, that I told you guys about, he told me, he said, DeMont, he said, if you want to make $1 million next year, he said, turn your business into a subscription business. And I didn't know anything about it. So he had me read this book, and it was about subscriptions. And he said, I got some homework for you, because we met at Starbucks. He said, go home. He said, write down all the things that you subscribe to. He said, Netflix, Apple TV, Apple this, that, all this, Hulu, everything that we subscribe to, Tidal, all that. So he said, go home and look at your account and look at all the things that you subscribe to monthly. And I did. I made a list. And he said, multiply that times 1,000. He said, just on the low end. He said, multiply that. No, he said, multiply that times 5. He told me 5,000. He said, multiply that times 5,000. So this scenario that he gave me, he said, imagine 5,000 people pay $17 a month. He said, you made $1 million. He said, imagine 1,000 people give you $83,000. And when he broke this down to me, it made sense, because I was thinking, how am I going to make this $1 million business? So what I did was I made my business a subscription business. So I used to have a monthly model for $83. And then I had my package was in the $500 range, and I had thousands of people that were paying that. So I make multiple millions of dollars just by converting my business into a subscription business. So he told me, he said, you got to find you a product or service that you can sell and you can make residual income from that. He said, and you want it to be a low amount. So you want it to be under $100, because $100 a month is something so low that the average person is not going to miss it when they go to cutting back. All right. So whether it's an education platform, whether it's a product or whatever, he said, you need to have a subscription. Remember, we're building streams of income. So it's not just one thing, but he said, you need to have a stream of income. So I did that. So then I got into the drop shipping business, and a lot of my team is in it. So we're in the health and wellness industry. So we do health and wellness, which is $1 billion industry. And we, drop shipping, just so you know, is when you don't invest a substantial amount of money, you just market the product, and whoever you're drop shipping for sends out your product. So you don't have to buy a bunch of product and then try to ship it out. You market that product based upon your brand, and they ship it out for you. So that's number 3. So this is how we're going to make $1 million in the next year. So that also brings residual income. Remember, Warren Buffett, write down this quote. Warren Buffett said that you will work for the rest of your life unless you find a way to make money in your sleep. All right. So for some reason, we think that working, when we retire, things are going to change. Typically, with most Americans, when you retire, you have to live less than what you lived the whole time you was working, because you as the old folks say, you're on a fixed income. All right. So residual income is very important. We got to make money in our sleep. I've shared a bit of this with you guys before, unless you're new watching, and that's learning compounding interest. All right. Compounding interest is when your money is making money, and that money is making more money. So Benjamin Franklin said, he said, compounding interest is money that makes money, and the money that makes money makes money. No one in my family ever told me about compounding interest. I had no idea what it was until I turned 30, and I made my first million at 24. Compounding interest is when you put your money into an index fund. So I put since I was 30, I put $1,000 a month into an index fund. I call that my play money. That's the money I used to go to the club with. So that $1,000 a month, and that eating out and all that stuff that I used to do, that $1,000 a month for the last 10 years has been occurring compound interest. So compound interest means that in my bank account, they're just going to give me a small percentage. But in my index fund, they're going to keep recycling and keep investing the interest that was compounded over time. So by the time I turn 50, my $1,000 a month is going to compound me $16 million. This is my retirement fund, because I've never had a job. So I don't have Social Security. And even if I did, Social Security wouldn't even be able to pay for 10% of the life that I live right now. My rent in downtown LA is $5,500. My Social Security, I know wouldn't, if I worked, it wouldn't be that a month. It's not that for any of my elderly family members. It's $900 or $1,200, maybe $1,300 a month. So how do you go from living a good life to saying, okay, well, I'm gonna live on Social Security? You have to start building your retirement. All right. So those of you that are in the transfer, you're making more money than you've ever seen before at one time, and you're thinking about all these liabilities that you're going to go buy, start working on ways that you can, as the Bible says, leave an inheritance to your children's children, and where you're able to retire and be comfortable and continue to live the way that you want to live, versus you saying, oh, I got to scale back. All right. So number 6 is credit leveraging. Remember, I told you we're going to make $1 million in the next year by 7 streams of income. I just listed those. I gave you 6. I gave you 5. We're going to go back to them in a second. Number 6 is credit leveraging. I'm almost done. We at the end. We got one more after this, and then we're done. All right. Credit leveraging is, I just bought a car dealership. I didn't just buy a car dealership just for the hell of it. I bought a car dealership because it's strategic. The billionaire told me, he said, DeMont, if you want to acquire a lot of money, he said, what you got to do is learn how to flip things that most people use as liabilities and make them assets. So imagine Billy D. I call him Billy D. Williams. So imagine Billy D. Williams, that you go get a loan for a car. And instead of you go, remember, a car is a liability because you're not making any money from it, but you flip it. So I'm gonna go buy, I got one. I got an I-8. I don't never get to drive it because it's been rented out since I put it on the market. But I bought an I-8, $70,000. The payment on it is $900. The insurance on it is $200. So total about $1,100. All right, some people might say, oh, it's a lot of money, but some of y'all paying quadruple the amount of money y'all should be paying because y'all interest rates are so high. So if you're paying $500 for a $20,000 car, you really should be paying $300 for a $20,000 car. You should not be paying $500, but your interest rate. So you need to refinance that car, get your credit together, refinance that car so that you can save $200 a month, so that you can put that $200 into a compounding interest account, and you can start accruing money while you sleep. All right. So I'm with you, Billy. So Billy, we go get this I-8. We go get a loan from the bank. You get a car all day long. Many of y'all driving luxury vehicles. We go get a car for $70,000. Our payment's gonna be about $900. We gonna have insurance of $200. I put an extra $900 in for just maintenance and upkeep. So that's $2,000 a month, right? So 900 plus 2, yeah. So that's 200. That's $2,000 a month. All right. On that car, I make $700 a day. You can look up rentals for I-8 all day long. 700 to $799 a day. That car rents out for at least 20 days out of the month. So that's $14,000 a month. I deduct what I paid a month, and that's $2,000. So now I'm paying $12,000 a month. I'm getting paid $12,000 a month from a car. Someone else is building my credit, and I'm renting this car out by the day. I've now turned into a rental car company. All right. So that's $144,000 a year in profit. If I go get 7 cars in my business name, and that's considered my fleet. If I go get a fleet, I could write off 100% of my fleet in my business name. You ever looked at somebody's license plate and it said fleet? That's because they are writing that car off because it's in their business name. So I get 7 cars in my business name, Alma, and I rent them out by the day. I made $1 million, 1.8 million after I paid all my expenses. So this is called credit leveraging. I don't use any of my cash. I use my credit. So instead of me going to go get an exotic car, luxury car, now I go flip it and I go rent it out to people that want to just rent it out by the day or by the week. And in LA, Miami, Vegas, cities like that, they do really well. All right. So we also, those of you that are in cities that are not those cities, I bought a car dealership. We do exotic car rentals, and that's what we do. I tested it out for a whole year just to see if this worked, and it does. If any of you ever want to do credit leveraging, just let us know. But if not, you can do it on your own as well if that's something that you want to do. All right. So passive income is using real estate and Airbnbs, the money from Airbnbs. This is my personal business that I'm sharing with you. I told you guys earlier that I have 8 Airbnbs. All of my Airbnbs are managed by a management company because I'm too busy now. I used to manage them myself. So I used to have Airbnbs in Vegas, which I had with DJ Shallow Red, and he was managing those for me. Now I have Airbnbs in Atlanta, Miami, LA, and I make about $12,000 a month. After I make $1,500 a month from each one of them. I make about $12,000 profit. All right. I don't touch them. I don't do anything with them anymore. I don't do check-ins. I don't do anything. I have a management company that does that, and they build their fee into the nightly cost. So I average $12,000 a month from my Airbnbs. All right. So my rental properties, I get about $13,500. My Airbnb's $12,500. So I make about $25,500 a month. That's about $300,000 a year. That pays for me to live. That pays for me to travel. That pays for me to eat out. Other people pay for me to do all the things that I'm able to do. Other people, my business doesn't do that. The money that I make in my business goes back into my business. All right, my business does not support me to live or for me to drive a nice car, for me to live well. And when your business does start making a profit, your business should pay you a salary. You still are not profiting from all of the money from your business. All right, so those of you, I got business. Your business should not, a business should be, I learned this from a wealthy man. He says your business should always be self-sustaining. One business should not support another business. If that business cannot support itself and be self-sustaining, shut it down and start another business. That's not the right business. All right. So these are all the things that we got to learn. We got to be committed to. I'm almost done in the last 5 minutes. All right. This is the stuff that we don't learn in school. This is the stuff that we didn't learn, our parents didn't learn, our kids didn't learn. So we can't keep saying what we didn't learn. We got to start self-educating and teaching ourselves and connecting with people that are teaching this information, which is very limited. That's why I have 100 people on this in this class right now. All right. So we got to teach ourselves and learn how to sell, how to think, how to negotiate, how to face failure. Because the key to becoming having massive success is that you're gonna fail at a lot of things, and you're gonna reach a point where sometimes you just have, like I just said, you might have a business where you got to shut down. So failure is a part of success. Without failure, you won't have those lessons. So many average people, they're scared of failure. They don't want to take the risk because comfortability keeps me comfortable. So if I go work a 9-to-5 job and I go pay my bills and I go get a check on Friday, that's comfortable for me. I don't have to try to figure out how I'm going to hustle to pay my rent if this doesn't work. So it's comfortable. So investing money, finding your passion, I think that's very important. I found my passion in my late 20s, and I've been unstoppable ever since. I think that finding your passion and understanding your why is one thing that if you don't find out anything else in your life that you need to find out, because that will help you be more in tune with why God placed you here, where you need to put your time. Do not chase money. Yeah, I'm talking about millions of dollars. I'm talking. Some of you are making a lot more money now. You're in my wealth transfer group, but I don't do anything for money. I'm not even doing that for money. I do what I love. I do what's connected to my passion, and everything I've never wanted for money since then. So I decided about 6 years ago, I said, I'm not chasing money no more. I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to do what is connected to my passion. And that moment, I have never wanted for nothing. So I don't want you to do anything for money. I do want you to invest, but I want you to understand what your passion is, what your purpose is, what your why is. Everyone should have a business. And when I say a business, a corporation, incorporation, a limited liability corporation. You need to have a business, a home-based business, if you don't actually have a business. All right? That business could be the vehicle that supports your investments. There should be nobody on this call, 100 people, that when the next time we have a masterclass, you don't have a business form. Right now, because of COVID, a lot of states are doing half off. So this is the time to start one. And then I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna teach you in the next masterclass how to build your business credit. Starting a business and getting the LLC is not the end, all right? I met a lady, she had business for 25 years. I said, what's your payday score? She didn't know what the hell I was talking about. We got a lot of work to do, y'all. When business owners don't know what a payday score is and don't know Duns and Bradstreet, and the first time y'all got introduced to SBA was during the pandemic. Some of us been getting money from SBA to fund our business for many, many years. SBA been giving money. And you don't have to pay it back for a certain period of time with a low interest rate. How do you think these people are building these strip malls and these hotels off of SBA loans? SBA didn't just come up in the pandemic. But you have to qualify, and you have to have credit, and you have to have a business. So it's very important that you guys, this is your homework. On top of doing your network test, you have to learn, you have to set up your corporation. I believe that everyone should have a corporation and a nonprofit, but again, that's my thing. Everybody, if you don't want a nonprofit, that's on you. But when I studied millionaires and billionaires, they were givers. They had organizations where they gave to the homeless, and they gave food, and they gave. You know, so you can run that through your nonprofit. All right, I'm almost done. All right, so schools don't teach you this. So the liabilities of the middle class are the assets of the rich. So the liabilities that we have are what the rich use as assets. All right. So repeat after me. You don't have to unmute your phone, but just say this after me. I'm going to attract.
I'm going to attract
Massive wealth.
Massive wealth.
Health.
Health.
And love.
And love.
In 2020.
And love.
In
2020.
All right.
In
Thank you.
2020.
Thank you. I believe in affirmations.
Beyond.
I believe and I shall receive.
Anything, I'm done.
Anything I've done.
I'm done, Darnell.
Okay.
Anything that I've ever spoken has happened, and that's why it's kind of crazy that this many people are in this class right now, because I did speak that I was going to help 100 people to become millionaires in the next year, and I didn't know exactly how that was going to happen with my team, but I do believe that it can happen because I've done it before, just not 100 people. So I think that the first step again is believing that you can do it, but I believe that no one tells us how we can keep it. So I want to show you real quick how you can keep it. So your time management is very important. Quit saying you don't have time. You got the same amount of time millionaires have, billionaires have, high achievers have, the 1%ers in your age group have. You got the same amount of time. I teach this in the wealth transfer. Is the most important thing that you have in life is what?
It's time.
Time. All right. Somebody said God. Somebody said God, but God is the provider of time. He gave us time. We all have a beginning. We all have an end. And what's in the middle of that? Time. So we have to leverage our time and utilize the time that God has given us here on this earth, because there's no one that's going to live forever. We all have an appointment and we all got to go one day. But and when that time is up, it ain't no more, oh God, let me go back and redo it. Ain't no redos. It's over. Whatever you take to your grave, all them dreams, all them visions, all them ideas, all them businesses, they're going with you when your time is up. So you got to manage your time. You got to manage your time. So I believe that the key reason why so many people are poor is because of procrastinating. It's lack of education, but it's procrastination. Black people, many of you on here that I know are some of the brightest, intelligent, masterful people on this earth. The reason why that your finances don't reflect that is because you don't manage your time. It's not that you're not smart enough. It's not that you don't have the ability to do it. We come from a community where we built plantations and buildings. My grandmother told me they used to throw away the pig ears and the pig feet, and they used to throw them away. Black people figured out that we can eat it and we can cook it and learned how to cook it, and then they started selling it in the store. We come from a culture of improvising. So I know that you have what it takes. We can't keep thinking that people are above us, or that people were born into money, or that people have a higher ability to get things, achieve success. That's not real. In Atlanta, I lived in Atlanta in a year. I lived in Atlanta a year, and I'm not discrediting any of my people because I love all of them. That's why I love Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta in a year. Atlanta has the most African-American successful people, but you know also what they have? They have a lot of successful people that are ratchet. They have money. So you can't tell me we're ratchet people that don't all the time have the best education. They don't all the time come from the best background. They didn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth, but they have acquired a level of success and riches that many of our communities haven't. So it doesn't matter that you didn't have this or you didn't have that. We got to quit using those excuses. We have time. We have time. That's the most precious thing we can get and God can give us is time. All right. Compounding interest. You guys should know this. I want you to teach your kids this. Compounding interest, Zara and Joe, Zara put $20,000 in the bank, Joe put $20,000 in the index fund, and $10,000. Zara still had she had a little bit of money, $22,092. Joe had $43,178. So in year 50, Zara, she had her money in the bank because she's doing what was safe. And she put her money in the bank. So by the time she was 50, she had $32,000, Alma. Val, she had $32,000. She put her money in the bank. Joe, he said, I'm putting my money in the compounding interest index funds, and he had $938,000. So his $20,000 turned into $938,032. All right? We got to understand that finance is not our strength, but we got to learn it. My son, $269. If I had started at 20 saving money, $269 will make you a millionaire by the time you're 50. That's your retirement plan. We got to start doing better with our money. All right, these are the different types of income. Earned income, profit income, interest income, dividend income, rental income, capital gains income. You should have every one of those streams, not just earned income. Earned income is when you go work a job and you go get a check. All right, how rich people budget their money. Millionaires, this is what I use. This is the system I use. Val, I want you to use this now. All right, so 25% of your money should go into your needs. But in order to understand where your money's going, you got to create a budget and you got to know where your money's going first. So you can't just try to figure this out each month. You have to have discipline. You have to sit down. You have to know how much money you have coming in, and you have to know your expenditures, which is how much money you have going out. So 25% in your needs, 10% in your wants, and 65% into investing. Do you know what our cousins, Nene and Shanae and Bonquisha, you know what they spend their money in? The percentage of 40% in their needs, 5% of their wants, and 5% in investing. So that's why they're average, because most of their money is going into liabilities. All right. All right. So to me, success is not dying empty. All right. So I believe, as I just told you, that each one of you have $1 million in your brain. You just got to figure out a way to get to it. And that's not gonna be easy. Sometimes it's a hard task because you believe it, but you don't know how to acquire it. So that's why you got to be a part of a team of people that understand it. So this is how I'm gonna get 100 people to millionaire status in the next year. I figured out a way for us to circulate our money. I figured out a way, Val, so nobody can ever say, well, I don't have the $10,000 to invest in the apartment building, so I'm just gonna keep saving, and I don't have the money to pay down my credit card debt because I'm not making that much money. I figured out a way, and that's called the wealth transfer. And now that we have the wealth transfer, we are unstoppable. I have people that are making $30,000 and $40,000 a month.
That's real.
I have people that are seeing money in their savings accounts that they never seen before. I have people that now in the last 3 weeks, now they've made enough so that they can put into an account so that they can have an emergency fund. Everybody needs an emergency fund. That's 6 months of your living expenses saved up in the event that you get sick, or you might want to take off to go write a book, or you might get laid off of your job, as we're seeing every day now. So you need to have that money saved up as successful people call your nest egg. All right. So real estate's how we go get there. Finding a product or service that we can build as subscriptions. Being in the drop shipping business, CBD is helping people in the health and wellness industry. Understanding stocks and income, dividends, investing into compound interest, credit leveraging, using our good credit to make money and not just having good credit. A score is just a score. So, you know, I could say I have an 820 all day long, but if I'm not leveraging it so that it can make me money, then I just have a great score and I'm just gonna die with a great score. I mean, so, and the seventh one is using passive income from real estate and Airbnbs. All right, so that's how we go do it. So I got one last test and then I'm done with y'all. We're going to the transfer in a minute. All right, left side or right side? Left side, pick one. Are you gonna pick the left side or you gonna pick the right side?
The right side.
Right side.
I was hoping that all this talking, my voice going out, I was hoping that y'all didn't fail this test. I was hoping y'all didn't fail this test.
It's the right side for me.
Right side for me, right side.
All right, so I got a team called the Wealthy Team. I'm not trying to sell nobody on my team, but I got a team called the Wealthy Team because I had a vision during the protest. I had a vision. I said, I'm a visionary, and I see things sometimes, a lot of times before they happen. And I saw this group of people sitting at a table, and I saw us making moves and business propositions together based upon the resources in our community. And then I started studying Black Wall Street. And I started studying how Black people in the 1800s, how they had planes and how they owned land and how they had their own community and how a dollar circulated over 80 times in that community. And I believe that if that could happen in the 1800s, I believe that it could happen now, Karen, in 2020. I believe that Black people could come together and build massive wealth and success together. I've never seen it. I've never seen Black people be able to work together. I've never seen Black people support each other. I've never seen it. I've never seen Black people not tear each other down, not talk about each other, not get jealous of each other because somebody has a bigger car, a bigger house. We see that in our families all the time. I've never seen it. And that was my dream, that could happen. That if we educated each other, if we came to sit down with each other, there'd be no envy, there'd be no malice, there'd be no jealousy. We all are able to pull each other up, as they told us. Didn't they tell us we needed to pull each other up by our bootstraps? Is that what they said? That we need to use our own bootstraps to pull ourselves up. So I think that we have the ability to do that. So I created a team called the Wealthy Team. And in the Wealthy Team, everybody has a wealth plan. That's what you just saw. Everybody has supports at least 2 businesses out of our group every month. Everybody, if they're not, they will be in the American Express Club. How many of you are on my Wealthy Team and y'all are in the American Express Club right now? Where y'all at? Where am I?
Oh yeah, I'm in there.
I need to join.
I'm there.
I need in.
A lot of people on my team are on the American Express Club. Some of you might be like, well, American Express is the top tier of credit. When a bank sees an American Express on your credit report, they in underwriting, and I'll teach you about underwriting, the underwriting criteria. That's a whole nother class. But in underwriting, when you go through banks' criteria, we talking about getting business lines of credit. We talking about getting apartment complexes, and we talking about all that stuff. So that requires underwriting. All right. So when a bank looks at your credit report, there are certain things that they look at to see your credit worthiness. And American Express is the top tier of credit. I travel for free because I have an American Express and I use my rewards points. I was just teaching Alma that's here. I was teaching her. I replaced my debit card. I never use my debit card. I replaced my debit card with my Platinum American Express because now I get the points. Well, nobody never taught me about points until I met the billionaire. And then, so now I shop for Christmas. I love Christmas. I buy everybody gifts for Christmas. I don't go in debt for Christmas. I buy everybody Christmas gifts off of my rewards points. All right. I bought last year for my birthday, and I'm not bragging. I'm not a bragger. All right. I want you to achieve a higher level of success than I've achieved. Last year for my birthday, I have over 1 million points with American Express. That's not because I'm a millionaire or I spend $1 million with American Express. That's because I simply replace my debit card with my credit card, and I pay it off every month. So instead of using my debit card, I pay my credit card. I use my credit card and then I pay it off. I don't have any credit card debt. So I wanted a Rolex. I want a Rolex because if I got a Rolex, I'm a wealth coach. So people look at, and the first thing I do, I watch people. The first thing that they do when I sit down is they look at my watch. And they be like, oh, you got a Rolex. Oh, you got a. So people judge you by what you drive, what you have. I wanted it because as a kid, I was taught that that a Rolex was a level of achievement for success in business. So the person that I used to watch on TV, like they had worked, anyway, it's all story behind the Rolex. It's not because of me trying to impress anybody. It was because I felt like that I had worked so hard and I deserved it. And it's a watch that's gonna still be worth a lot of money in 40 years, even when I'm not wearing it or something. So I went and I used my points to go get me a Rolex. So I bought a $30,000 watch, but I didn't spend no money. I didn't spend $30,000. I didn't spend a dime. I used my points. So understanding that will help you. I did a whole rehab project on points one time, so at Lowe's. So understanding it, a lot of times when we look at those points, we say 60,000 points. What is that? Or cash back? What is, so understanding it will help you understand how to use your credit. So that's what I want people to do. Everybody on the wealthy team has should have health insurance. If not, we work to help them to acquire it. And then everyone should have at least a $25,000 life insurance, because you shouldn't want to leave your kids or your family in a position where they can't even bury you, or where your kids are not able to maintain and live without you. I want everyone to have $1 million in life insurance policies. What that does, Val, is that if we all have $1 million in life insurance policies, when we die, whenever the Lord calls our name, that we will leave millionaires. So every time someone dies, a millionaire will be birthed. So that's my ultimate goal, is that everybody will have at least $1 million in life insurance policies. I told you that each one of you should have an LLC, a corporation, and each one of you should learn how to buy your car in your business name. Do you realize that if you buy your car in your business name, that you can write it off 100%, you can get the money back on your taxes? Do you realize that you can really drive your car for free if you learn how to buy it? All right. Everybody needs to learn how to read financial statements. I do not want anyone else signing a financial document and not understanding how to read it. Many of us have gotten in a lot of situations and are in a lot of bad situations. You don't even know the interest rate on your cars because you just signed documents, because you're just glad you got approved. All right. When we have tier credit, we don't do that. All right. We understand what we're getting into, and we understand how we're going to get out of it. So when you sign an agreement or financial agreement, you need to understand how you're going to get out of it in the event that you need to. All right. Everybody should have a nonprofit, and everybody should have a trust fund. All right. I know it's intimidating, but I'm going to teach everybody about trust funds. Your assets should be protected in a trust. It's a lot of tax benefits. It's a lot of things that help your family not have to go through probate and deal with all that stuff when you die. It's just a lot of benefits. All right. So everybody should create a wealth by investing in real estate. We got to learn real estate. Real estate is a part of that puzzle. And we have an investor fund. So a lot of us in our group are now, we've invested in a few things. So I've used the investors for the car dealership. We have a movie that we're doing that we're selling to Netflix. We have a lot of things that we're working on. Our next goal is to buy an apartment complex. So we're coming together, and we're going to buy an apartment complex together. Access to elite banks. So those of you that are not members of Navy Federal Credit Union, write this down. You need to find someone that's a member so that they can bring you into the bank. That's a private bank. There's 3 private banks that you should be a member of. They're all credit unions: Navy Federal, Penn Fed, and USAA. All of those require you having a sponsor of someone that has an account. You can't say, oh, I don't know nobody. You on social media all day, network, connect with people. But if you're on my wealthy team, we all, you know, we'll help each other. We help each other get in those things. All right. Everybody needs a retirement plan. You cannot say, if I go around the room right now and I say, where are you gonna be in the next, what is your retirement plan for the next 15 years? Many people are not gonna have a plan. You need to have a plan for every level of your life, a written plan. All right. We have a book club. I don't know where the book is. Right now we're reading the book, Becoming a Brand. All right. So we read one book a month. Right now we're reading Becoming a Brand because you are a brand. You're building a brand. Your business is a brand. Whatever business you start next is a brand. You need to understand how to build a brand. So the average American reads one book a year. My team will read one book a year, one book a month. One book a month puts them ahead of the average American. All right, so that'd be 12 books a year. 12 books a year. I read one book a week, so I read 52 books a year because I am. In 3 years, I became I became an expert in my industry because I had more knowledge in this area than anybody else. So in your industry, if you want to be an expert in that area, you need to read one book a month or one book a week so that you can, in the next 2 or 3 years, anybody that sits down and talks to you about whatever that industry is you're in, you have just as much information that they have, if not more. All right. Everybody should have a brokerage account. Everybody should have passive income, 7 incomes. Everybody needs to practice their right to vote. I do believe we should practice our right to vote. I don't believe that's necessarily the whole solution because we still have to circulate money in our community. We still got to teach our community. We still got to teach our kids. We still got to learn how to invest. We still got to do all the things that we said that they never taught us. All right. And then everybody should commit to invest at least $10,000 within the next 12 months because you have to start building your own investment. All right. So I'm closing. I'm gonna show you how to be a part of my team. This is not a commercial for my team. I'm still gonna continue to teach. I'm still gonna continue to do my master classes. I taught on Facebook for 3 years. That's how I met many of these people in this class. I taught on Facebook every week for 3 years the information about credit and about business credit and about investing. I used that as my platform for 3 years, and I taught for free. So I teach for free. I know somebody said, oh, he's using this as his platform to make money. I have money, and the money that I even charge is not even enough. So if you want to be a part of the wealthy team, I'm going to show you how in just a few minutes. But if you don't, I'm still going to continue to teach free. You still can come to my master classes for free. I don't charge for master classes. I'm still, if you send me a message, and I have 1,000 messages right now that are unread, but if I will eventually get to them, but if you send me a message, I will respond, I will answer it. With my team, the difference is that we meet weekly, so they always have access to me, and I always teach them something new, and they always have the ability to ask me questions. So this is Dan Pena. I love him. You guys should watch him on YouTube. I get a kick out of him because he's so straightforward. He cusses his people out, but you know what type of people he creates? He creates billionaires. So he says, show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. So that lets you know that your network is your net worth. That lets you know that that's very important. In closing, the billionaire that I met, and I'll go more in depth on how I met him later, but the billionaire that I met that has been my mentor and that has helped educate me so that now I'm able to educate my community, he told me, he said, DeMont, there's 4 people that you need in order to be successful. He said, call them your all-star team. He said, once you get those 4 people, there is nothing or no one that can stop you because you have every piece of the puzzle that you need. He said, you need a coach or a mentor. He said, you need a lawyer. He said, you need a tax accountant or a CPA. He said, and you need a banker. He said, with those 4 people on your team and in your network, he said, you will be unstoppable. So I'm going to tell each one of you before we close that if you're going to build a network, You don't need a massive amount of people. You don't need a whole lot of friends, because your friends typically are not even going to understand the level in which you're trying to get, because there's a lot of our friends are stuck where they are, and a lot of our family is stuck where they are, and hopefully they'll catch up to us, but right now they're not, and I've had to accept that. So you need 4 people, and don't think I need a whole bunch of people. I need 4 people. I need a coach. I need a lawyer. I can make sure that I'm not, everything I do is ethical and within the law. And I need a tax accountant to make sure I don't get in a whole bunch of tax trouble. And I learn the tax benefits of business. And I need a banker to show me how to get the money. All right? All right. So
man, one thing before you leave.
In my team, what you say?
Yeah, one question before you leave.
I'm not about to leave. I'm about to open up questions if you want questions. Give me 1 second.
I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
That's okay. I'm not leaving, y'all. I always stay to the end. All right. So these are the people that I have in my group, on my team. I believe that your network is very important. The people that you have access to. I went through my phone one day and I realized that I had a good network. I was blessed that I could make things happen. If I wanted to go somewhere, I could make a call and I could make it happen. So I want to give that access to everybody. Training, live meetings, the book clubs, refinance car clubs. If you're paying more than 5% for your car, you need to refinance it. Travel club, these are all the things. Take a screenshot of the screen. I'm not gonna go through each one of them. Again, I'm not turning this into a coach to my session. This is a masterclass, but I want to give you the ability to be a part of an exclusive team, which is called the Wealthy Team. Some of you are a part of the wealth transfer, but once you go through the water and you get your transfer, if you don't have discipline, if you don't have a team, if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a different mindset, you're gonna stay broke. All right, because you're gonna go spend that money on stuff that's not gonna make you money, and in 6 months, when you don't have access to the transfer, or we close the doors or whatever, because we might close the doors and make it a closed group. So if you're not in by now, you might not get in later. All right, we gonna close the doors, gonna close the vault door, Karen, and you ain't gonna be able to get in or out. All right, I'm just playing. So you never know what tomorrow may bring, but if you don't understand money and finance and don't have a team that understands money and finance, you're probably going to continue to repeat what you've been doing for the last 5 years. All right. So take a screenshot of that. All right. This is your commitment. Develop a new mindset, discipline, writing down your daily goals, showing up to meetings on time, and reading and sticking to a plan. All right.
All right. Sound like a plan.
So this is how much it is. It's not that much. I could easily charge $15,000. It's a subscription, $97 a month. All I ask for is a commitment of 12 months. In 12 months, I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna turn in with my partners. Every partner that's on here, that everything that I do, I introduce to them. So that's why they were at the beginning level of the transfer, and that's why they've made so much money. You had Tamika that's made $40,000 and $50,000 already. You know, so at the end of the day, I believe in bringing my people with me. I don't ever want there to be a time where I have more than the people around me. I want us to all have the same amount so we could do some massive things together. All right. So it's $97 a month. I ask that you give me 12 months. In 12 months, we're gonna learn. We're gonna invest. We're going to build that plan that I just showed you. I want to show 100 people how to become millionaires in the next year. And that's going to require time, that's going to require education, and that's going to require unlearning a lot of the things that you've learned. I only had 38 spots left on my team. My team is almost full. I'm not coaching hundreds of people in this program because I only want people that are committed to doing it. A guy the other day, he said he was having a hard time, and can you send me my $97 back? I said, bro, I would send you $200 back, bro. I'm gonna send you $200 back, and I wish you well, but you are not meant to be on my team. Like, so I would give people their money back. But again, I need people that are ready to work just as hard for themselves as they have for other people. That's all I ask. So again,
you could count me in.
Again, if this is something that you want to do, and people kept saying, don't use the transfer platform. Well, nobody never told me that, but I didn't want to do it. But again, I don't want a lot of you that are in the transfer and are making a lot of money. I don't want you to look up in 6 months or a year and you still be in the same place. The only way that you're going to be in a different place is that you change your habits and you change your friends and you change what you know. So that's very important to me, is that we're not circulating all this money just for people to go buy TVs and furniture and cars.
Yes.
That we're circulating all this money that is going to build generational wealth and close the wealth gap. So that's going to require training, and that's going to require you wanting to be a student to be trained, and that's going to require you being a part of a network and connecting with other people and understanding that you don't have everything that it takes. It's going to take a community of people and resources to get us to a higher level. All right. So that's it. My last thing, I'm opening up for questions. My last thing is that I always make a promise. I make a promise to my team and my partners that I told you guys I have over 100 partners across the United States that I've trained how to be credit coaches. Many of them are doing very well. All of them are doing very well. And I'm sure they're on here, hopefully. So my promise is that I promise to coach you, get you ready for championship. I believe that this is a game. And I believe that wealth is a game. I believe that acquiring wealth is a game. And championship means that we win, and we win together. I vow that I'm going to share with you the knowledge and the wisdom that has helped me. I've won and I've lost. I've failed and I've won. I made mistakes and I haven't. I filed bankruptcy and I've been in trouble. You know, I have a lot of things that have happened. I've been shot 8 times. So it's been a lot of things that have happened to me to get me to this point to where I know exactly why God left me here. And that was to help people to be educated so that we can change generations. That's my goal. Access car connection. I have a car dealership. I don't want anybody to pay retail for a car ever again. I don't want anybody to ever go to a car lot shopping for a loan. Your credit should be good enough where you have your car loan before you go so that you're able to negotiate, unless you're getting a lease. If you're getting a lease, okay, go to a car dealership if you got tier 1 credit. If you're not getting a lease and you're purchasing, do not go to the car dealership, let them run your credit 45,000 times. All right, so again, that's why I got into the car industry, because the main thing that happens when you talk to anybody, if I go around this room of 100 people, at least 70 of y'all go say, I want a car. All right. So I want to make sure that you just make sure that you do that purchase correctly. I want to make sure everybody has excellent credit. If we have 100 people with excellent credit, how much power is that? If we have 100 people, somebody do the numbers for me. If we have 100 people that have $100,000 in available credit, I ain't even talking about the money we get from the transfer or the money we saving or the lines of credit. We have $100,000 in available credit. 100 of us. How much money is that? 10 million?
10 million.
$10 million. So we have a lot of power. We just circulated 900,000 in 14 days. That should show y'all we got some power. All right. So I want everybody to have an American Express. I want everybody to travel for free. I want everybody to get the upgrades and the perks and all of the things that American Express offers. I want everybody to be in those private banks that I just told you. I want everybody to have access to my network. Those of you that have seen what happens inside of the vault of the wealth transfer, that started on the foundation of my network. Those were people that I called and said, hey, y'all, let's do this. We was going over to another group, and this turned into something that was much bigger than what we expected. But that was built on my network. So, so a network is very important into getting into the success of where you're trying to get through. And then I want to show you guys how to build business credit. Every business that you have is an entity. If you have one business, that's an entity. You should have at least $100,000 in lines of credit for that business. If you have 3 businesses or 4 businesses or 5 businesses, all of those are entities. That's leverage that you have. So it's no one that should ever be broke again. And you have a business, your business should be able to produce with the lines of credit for what you need to produce them with. All right, I'm gonna teach you about that later. All right, so now I'm opening up to questions. Questions is scary, but
Question number 1, how do I get down with the money, the wealth team?
The wealth team. Well, that requires a conversation with me.
Okay. Can we set a meeting?
We can set up a meeting, yes.
All right, so should I DM you in Telegram and we
well, I'm gonna write your name down.
Okay.
You can DM Karen too, Karen Lloyd,
okay.
Or you can DM me. Me is gonna be kind of sketchy, but
gotcha. You said you got 1,000 unread text messages. I heard you.
I'm trying.
I'm there with you.
I think I found me an assistant, so I might be in good shape.
Okay, that sounds good.
But I got your name down, Val.
Okay, perfect.
I'll make sure you.
I'm interested in joining the wealth team as well.
Who is that, Lauren?
So am I.
Yeah, this is Lauren.
Which group are you in, Lauren?
Right now, I'm in the money group. I got 3 slots, so I'm just sitting back waiting. But I'm interested in this right here.
Okay.
I'm interested as well.
Let's just everybody email me.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to
have
know
a question.
What's your email, brother?
Let me tell. Email Karen. Let's do that.
Yeah. What's Karen's email?
I haven't had an assistant in about 6 months, so I'm a little behind. So, Karen, let me do it.
In the chat. Put the email in the chat.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah, that make life super easy.
Yeah, it'd be a whole lot easier.
Any other questions while I'm doing this?
Demont, I have a question. What was your website that you said to use to calculate the net worth?
It's Coach Demont. So CoachDemont.com.
Cool. Thank you.
You got my email address to send me the PDF of that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. I put Karen's email address in the chat. So if you're interested in being on the wealthy team, then contact her. We'll set up something. I just want to make sure that you are prepared for that. I'm not the average coach, and I do hold my people accountable, and I am kind of rough and hard, but I'm going to get you where you want to get to, all right? But I believe accountability is very important to success. I'm going to always respect you, but I also want respect. And I'm always, and I believe that you could do anything that you tell me you want to do, but you're going to have to be willing to do the work. And doing the work is maybe you got to get downsized, or maybe you got to get rid of some stuff that doesn't mean anything, or maybe you got to put some more time into, like I said, self-educating yourself. That's very important. Self-education is very important. Some of my team right now, I'm upset with right now because I know they have not read this book, and we're at the end of the month. And if we get to the very last day of this month and they have not read this book that they were supposed to start on the 1st of this month, then I'm going in on them, and I might cut them off I might suspend them for a few months. So I'm very serious about that. Like, we can't say we want massive success, but we're not willing to put in the work.
And what's the name of that book again?
It's called, you can get it on Amazon. It's called Becoming a Brand.
Natalie Nicole.
Now, I showed you her picture earlier next to the Lamborghini. That was Natalie. So this will come up. So she's one of my superstars, and she wrote the book, and she's helping me with my book right now. But again, we can't say that we want something. So a team isn't for everybody. I asked this question the other day. If Kobe Bryant was on the Phoenix Suns, would Kobe Bryant have 5 championships?
No.
I don't think.
He needed Shaq.
Yes.
I don't think so. Oh, what if he was on the Grizzlies?
Okay. Or maybe not.
Man, that's Kobe. Quit playing.
So it was Kobe. Kobe is, to me, one of the greatest of all times.
Definitely.
But it was also a mess of the coach he had and the team, right?
Most definitely.
He couldn't do it by himself.
He couldn't do it without he couldn't do it without Lamar Odom. He couldn't do it without a team.
Right. So if you had put Kobe, I'm 2 blocks from the Staples Center. If you had put Kobe on the Staples Center floor to play the game by himself, I don't care if he scored 20, 25 points in the game, he could not have won 5 championships by himself. So why do we think that we can win by ourselves?
Right.
True.
Physically impossible.
It's impossible.
Right.
So as y'all know, I'm very passionate about this. So yes. so yes. So I think that a team and a coach is very important. Accountability is very important. Self-education, very important. So those are things that I study, and those are things that I do. And I want if you're willing to agree to that, then I think that the sky's the limit. Again, y'all seen what we doing in the transfer room. And I don't care if things slow down. There's no one still in that group that will ever lose, because we will always keep moving forward. The way it's designed is we will always keep moving forward. Even if it's slow, we get slow participation from our team members, the team that we got left, we will always keep moving forward. So that's very important to me. Like, it's very important to me, but that's because we have a good team. I couldn't have done it by myself. Karen couldn't have done it by herself. Whoever else on my team, Terry or Damon or Tamika, any of the, I don't know, I can't see everybody, but we couldn't have done it. Darnell, Aaron, we couldn't have done it by ourselves. It would have took all of you to help us to achieve that. So yes, so contact Karen if you want to be on that team. I want to get, if nobody has any other questions, but again, hopefully today you've learned, even outside of joining the wealthy team or any of that, hopefully you've learned that you cannot acquire massive success without a wealth plan. So I could talk wealth and millionaires and where my millionaires at, and I'm gonna be a millionaire, and I'm affirming I'm gonna be a millionaire, and I believe I'm gonna be a millionaire. I could say that all day long, but if I don't have a plan for my money before I get it, I'm going to remain broke, poor, average. I have to have a plan. There is not one of you that are in your house, wherever that house is. I see some beautiful houses. Not one of you that have a roof over your head and who's at the door? Huh? Oh. Not one of you that have a roof over your head, and before they built that house that you're in, they put together a blueprint. And before they even laid the foundation, we just talking about they put together the plan. So you got to start with a plan. We cannot think that we can start with just what's in our head or it's just gonna happen. We got to have a plan. And if that plan don't work, we got a backup plan. And if that plan don't work, we got a backup plan. But the key is when you're able to visualize and see your plan, then you know, okay, well, maybe I need to move this over here. Or maybe I need to make this bigger. Or maybe I need to set a time frame on this. Or maybe I need to find somebody that understands how to build a business plan or how to build a financial plan. Or maybe I need to find somebody on my team or somebody I can even partner with that understands how Amazon works so that they can help me leverage my product or my business. Maybe I need to get paid for me a marketing manager because I don't understand marketing. I don't understand digital marketing. So maybe I need to pay for me a digital marketing person instead of going out this month. So those are things that, you know, I just want to make sure that we on the same page before you come on my team. I don't want you to come on my team because you just want to be a millionaire. I want you to come on my team because you want to acquire generational wealth. Generational wealth means that we can't do what the previous generation before us did because that's not working. It's not working. So we got to change it. And changing it ain't just talking. We can't just talk. We have to do. We have to do. All right, any questions for me? Because we're going to go into the transfer. It's been an all day for me. But you know what I decided? I said, and how I've been so successful is that I decided that I would never be outworked. So people ask me, they say, DeMont, do you ever sleep? No, I don't sleep. I don't sleep because I can't be outworked. So that's why I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do, is because I'm not going to be outworked. Even when I get in the bed at the end of the day, I'm reading a book, or I'm studying, or I'm watching a webinar, or I'm trying to figure out credit laws, or because credit laws is how we fix people's credit. Or I'm trying to learn about, now I'm studying and teaching myself about trust funds. Or so at every level, you have to educate yourself, because if I didn't study, I wouldn't be able to teach you guys nothing. So, all right, any other questions? I don't want to cut anybody off.
Nah, that's it. Yeah.
Well, how do I get to where you at so I can come chill with you for a minute and pick your brain a little bit? I'm trying to do real estate myself. I've been trying to do it for a while. This is Rick Cheatham, come from Indianapolis.
I'm from Indianapolis.
Okay.
Did you email Karen, Rick?
Okay. Did you leave her email in the
Yes,
or write down my number. My number is public. It's 213.
Oh man, 213.
Yeah, anybody wants to write down my number, it's fine. Now, with the time frame in which you get a response, I cannot guarantee. But I'm down for, if you just got if you got a quick question, I'll respond to you. But as you see, I have 1,075 text messages that are unread right now.
Damn. Okay.
But if you keep it, I think the key to success is persistence. Keep knocking, because eventually somebody's going to respond. All right, so my number is 213-713-4154. My number's all over everything, so it's not a private number. It's 213-713-4154. Hello, Thomas.
All right, I'm out of here. Yeah.
All right, so everybody have a good night. I'll be doing another masterclass in about 2 weeks. I'll let you guys know the date. Hopefully you learned something. Everyone should be emailing me your net worth. You should know your net worth, and you should know, you might not know how you're going to raise your net worth, but you should know where you are so that you can know where you're going. All right, so a lot of us know where we want to go, but we're not being transparent about where we are, because we don't know where we are. All right, and it's okay. So you got to find that out, but email me that just so that I'll have it, so that when we look back in the next 6 months to a year, we can have something to look back on. And I want to see that number increase, whatever it is. I don't care what your net worth is right now. What you got to realize is that it's going up if you're willing to do the work. All right. So everybody, I'm asking everybody, I don't care if you're on social media or what you're on, if you are in our group, can you go over into the wealth transfer group, and I want you to post one thing that you learned today, and I want you to invite somebody if you can, because we need to close at least 4 boards tonight. All right, we're gonna close 4 boards. We closed 4 earlier. We're gonna close 4 boards, so that'll make our 8 boards today. So I need y'all help. Y'all my team. I'm y'all coach. I need your help. We need to close 4 boards today. So I need y'all participation in the group. I need your excitement, your energy, all of your gifts and your swirls and your this and all that. I need it in that group. All right, I gave y'all 2 hours of my time. All I'm asking y'all for is y'all participation in this platform that we've built, where we are able now to circulate. Because you know what? The more boards we close, the closer you guys get to the water and to your destination. So we got to work together. I'm not asking you to bring in 2 people, do all that. I'm just asking you to participate, and I'm asking you to share your experience with other people. That's it. That's all. Just share it, because we also want the people around us to be where we are and to go where we're going. All right. So wealth transfer, let's go over there.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Lamont. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so
God will
much.
bless you. Thank you.
I learned a lot. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Lamont.
God bless you.
Bless you too. God bless you too.
You're welcome.
I ain't never been so tired, but I'm still here.